Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars universe seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about the new Star Wars TV shows, the new Star Wars movies that are currently in the works by, of course, Bob Chapek, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, etc., that's really trying their absolute best to really turn Star Wars around for the better, and to really make up for what went wrong with the sequel trilogy movies. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way, guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, we are now in a very exciting time for, of course, the Star Wars universe, given that we have a lot of projects in development, such as the Kenobi TV show, we have, of course, the Ahsoka series, we have a lot of other things coming into fruition, such as the Bad Batch Season 2, which, by the way, that's having a little bit of a hiccup because they ran into some production issues, but I digress. Everything related to the Kenobi series is moving along very well in post-production. In fact, Disney and Lucasfilm are just about to finish the Kenobi series before they begin marketing the show, pretty much to the point where they have over a dozen TV spots by the very end of May. So with that being said, however, what's really exciting has a lot to do with the Kenobi bloodline, alright? One thing that a lot of fans have been very intrigued about when it comes to the Star Wars universe and exactly what's happening with the whole Rey Kenobi situation. We talked about this lightly a couple of days ago, and things are beginning to progress between both Favreau, Filoni, and Lucas as well. Now, the thing about this as well is that we also have a lot of things being made canon, a lot of retcons coming our way for the sequel trilogy films, so just keep that in mind as well. Now, with that being said, however, what's even all the more exciting is that with both Disney and Lucasfilm now finishing up with the Kenobi series and focusing on Ahsoka, creators Jon and Dave Filoni are beginning to work on other projects in the meantime, while Kathleen Kennedy has trouble with the Acolyte TV show. However, it's described that Disney and Lucasfilm are currently doing big things with retcons for the sequel trilogy that involve the character of Rey. One major retcon is set to make Rey into both a Palpatine and a Kenobi, as we discussed earlier. However, the technique that Disney is approaching is to make Rey's mother the daughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi, where Disney is planning to make this officially canon by the beginning of 2023 in various formats. That Rey's mother's name is already planned to be Qi'ra Kenobi. So Rey's mother becoming the daughter of Kenobi is the big plan here by Lucasfilm. And making her name as Qi'ra Kenobi is obviously a direct reference to something that J.J. Abrams originally had in mind, where Qi'ra was the original name that J.J. gave for Rey in the early scripts for The Force Awakens, and now that name will serve Rey's mother and the Kenobi bloodline. Disney will also be making some big changes with how Palpatine's son came into this world, by ridding the story of him being just a clone through gene splicing and making him into a legitimate son of Darth Sidious in the traditional sense. So let me just stop right there for 1 second. What do I mean by in the traditional sense? Well, it could either be of two things, where Palpatine actually had a child with somebody that he knew, or it could be something that we saw in the Darth Vader comics in one of Vader's visions, where he witnesses Palpatine casting some kind of spell or using the Force behind Shmi Skywalker, and essentially allowing Anakin to pretty much form within Shmi Skywalker's womb, just by using the Force, literally. Now, that was an idea that they touched on in the Vader comics, and they left it very vague as to whether or not Palpatine created Anakin. They are working on that canon piece. But moving on from that, Rey Kenobi is described to also be involved visually in the upcoming Rise of Skywalker 4-hour cut, and that new footage will come to light of Rey's mother in the cut of this movie. Now, Qi'ra Kenobi as Rey's mother is described to also hold the secret to how, of course, Kenobi had a love interest with, of course, in the overall canon, and eventually had a child with, and that a lot of this will be teased in new upcoming projects in live-action form that will involve Ewan McGregor as well. So that's another thing to really keep in mind here, is that, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Ewan McGregor signed on to a multi-show deal, a multi-show contract deal, where he's going to appear as Obi-Wan not just in the Kenobi series, but also in other TV shows that are going to take place within that era, and that era is the bridge between episodes 3 and 4. And you have a lot of time to cover in that time period, you know, over 10 years worth. It's a lot of stuff to cover, and they are giving Ewan McGregor a lot of time and day to actually pretty much age as Kenobi. They want to make him age as Obi-Wan Kenobi in a realistic sense. So that's another thing to be very excited about. Now, Disney is already planning to expand the Kenobi series to becoming a multi-season show instead of a limited series for Disney Plus, given the anticipation already. So far, Rey's father is currently dubbed as Maximus Palpatine. However, this is not the final name for the official canon and is heavily inspired from Gladiator, as Jon Favreau is a big fan of that movie. Kira Kenobi is described to hold the powers of Obi-Wan and even train through the ways of the Force and hiding on Coruscant. Lucasfilm is also set to make a canon that Luke Skywalker knew about Kira Kenobi's existence in the universe and kept that fact hidden from many of those who Luke knew. This big retcon is set to be done by both Favreau, Lucas, and Filoni, working together to make this right to the fans. One of the main reasons why Rey's parents didn't have name reveals in the movies were due to J.J. Abrams feeling very self-conscious about Rey's lineage and where she actually comes from, and that J.J. wanted to make it a bit open-ended on purpose as to who Rey's mother really was and exactly who her father really was. Rey Kenobi is going to be a big deal for fans as she will hold both powers of Palpatine and Kenobi in the official canon for TV shows, the 4-hour cut of Episode 9, and new books and comics as well. This plan will also be heavily handled by Lucas to make this properly placed into the Star Wars canon involving Kira Kenobi. Now, keep in mind, alright, there's another very important aspect to this, is that they want to make sure that Rey's parents are going to become prominent figures in the Star Wars universe. That was one big failure of Episode 9, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree with me on this, is that Rey's parents were so pushed to the wayside on purpose in Episode 9 to the point where the unveiling of her being a Palpatine was so underwhelming. I don't know about you guys, but when Kylo Ren unveiled to Rey that you are a Palpatine, like the way he said it was so underwhelming, the way it was written was so underwhelming, is because we didn't really have a lot of history related to Rey and her parents and exactly who her parents really were, and you don't really have that direct connection. It would have been something different if maybe, you know, she had Luke Skywalker as her father because she's been with Luke, she's had scenes with Luke. It would have made more sense, kind of like how the original trilogy went. You had scenes between both Luke and Vader before the unveiling of Darth Vader being Luke's father, hence it having a bigger impact. You know, we never saw Palpatine and Rey on screen together before the unveiling of this lineage. So let me know what you guys have to say about this, because it's a very interesting thing that Disney and Jon Favreau and others are doing right now for the Rey Kenobi canon piece that is going to happen in 2023 and beyond. You know, there's a lot of things being done also for Ewan McGregor for live action projects. That's not just going to be the Kenobi TV show, but other TV shows out there as well. So keep that in mind. So overall, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.